Good day to YouTube. You like this? Today we're making some tasty meal prep that's actually exciting and flavorful. Moroccan food just seems like the perfect cuisine to use for meal prep because most of the dishes are essentially one-pot dishes. And the liberal use of spices allows us to add loads of flavor without unnecessary calories. Based on a traditional dish that I found in this book by Paula Wolfert called Small Family Couscous, we will be using some ingredients that were made for each other like saffron, raisins and almonds. I resisted the urge to use chicken thighs and opted for breasts to shave off some calories and saturated fat for those concerned. But I'm going to show you how to cook them perfectly with ample room for reheating, as well as how to blend the couscous with some more slow burning grains without losing that Moroccan feel. Rolling with the food. You'll find all of these ingredients in any supermarket besides maybe the saffron, which can easily be ordered online. Even the preparation for this dish is easy. You can get this done in less than an hour and some change. Slice half each of a red and yellow onion, and if you feel confident, thinly slice some garlic like this. If you want to use pureed garlic, go ahead, but put it in much later. I also used some better than bouillon chicken stock, available almost everywhere in some form or another. Then it's just a matter of sauteing them all off, but there's an order in which they should be added to the pan, and it is thus: first the onions, then the garlic, then the spices and the raisins for a short duration. Adding different ingredients at different stages of cooking is essential if you want to cook properly, and most of the time it's just a matter of common sense. I'll show you now. To make this dish slightly more healthy, I'm using some avocado oil, just adding it to a sauce pot and bringing that up to medium-high heat to add my white and red onions. Then just sweat them down for about 5 minutes on low heat till you see this kind of translucent texture that they take on. After that, it's time to add the garlic for a few more minutes, the cinnamon sticks and the bay leaves. Sauteing the garlic for obvious reasons, but the flavor in cinnamon sticks and bay leaves are locked deep down inside to protect them from invaders. After they've been in the pan for 3 or 4 minutes, add the saffron, and then we're going to chuck in the raisins and give everything a little bit of a very low saute, about 4 minutes all in all. Then we're going to add our pre-prepared chicken stock after we deglaze with some fresh lemon juice. Lemon juice is a natural flavor enhancer, and the chicken stock should have plenty of sodium in it, so you don't really have to worry about lots of salt in this dish. Then simmer the whole thing on low heat 7 to 8 minutes. This is to infuse the stock with bay leaves and the cinnamon. Originally the dish called for reducing it down with some sugar to get a nice saucy texture, but I'm leaving out the sugar and just thickening it with 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, 1 teaspoon of water. Just bring it up to a low boil before you add it. Then we're going to finish the sauce with some cracked pepper, just a wee dash of salt, a couple of good dashes of cayenne pepper, and some ginger powder. I resisted the urge to use fresh ginger just to streamline the process for the viewers. As you can see, I'm just scientifically adding ample ginger. Then it's just a case of, on a low heat, reducing it down to a texture that you want. Something similar to this is what I like a soupy, stocky, not too thick stock/sauce. Now I can put the sauce to the side and start to cook the chickens. You have probably heard numerous times that you need to cook chicken breast to 165 degrees Fahrenheit, but doing this is why most people find their chicken is dry and unappetizing. You can cook chicken breast to as low as 135 degrees as long as you leave it enough time to rest after the cooking. 63.63 minutes to be exact. The bacteria will die at this point. Now 135 degrees is the other extreme and won't yield a very pleasing texture either, so the trick is to shoot for 145 to 150 degrees, then rest. This way the chicken remains juicy even when you reheat it. We're going to cook them in the oven, but first we'll sear them off in a grill pan. If you haven't got one, just use a regular saute pan. But I think every kitchen should have a grill pan. Season with salt and pepper and spray with some olive oil. And then this stuff here you see me sprinkling on here is actually called La Cama. It's a Moroccan spice mix that I bought in a set off Amazon. You get 4 different tagine spices for something in the region of $20. They're super versatile, and you don't have to use the chicken one for chicken and the fish one for fish. You can experiment. A lot of Moroccan spices have many spices in them, but if you want to try and emulate this one without buying a spice mix, I would say just go heavy cumin and turmeric and ginger and coriander. With the grill on high heat, we'll just seal off the chicken breasts. We're talking like 3 minutes on each side. Season the other side exactly like you did the first side. And once you got a nice seal on one side, flip them over, then transfer them to your cooking dish of choice. I'm using this long oblong Pyrex dish. Repeat steps 1 to 2 or 3-ish, oiling both sides, peppering, salting, and tagine spicing. Then transfer those two to the same dish, to which we will pour our pre-made sauce on top, cover with some aluminium foil, and we will stick in the oven on 375 degrees until we reach an internal temperature of roughly 145 to 50 degrees. While that's in the oven, you can be preparing your grains. These super grains are from Whole Foods. They've just been rinsed, added to a pot of water with some salt and brought to a boil, then lowered to a simmer. Cook them off for about 15 minutes or until they are cooked. You can test this by eating a little bit, believe it or not. And once they're at the point of cook, we're just going to add our couscous to it. The recipe will show you the exact amount of water that you should use. I used a little bit more in this here clip, so I just poured some out. What we're looking for is just enough liquid so that the couscous absorbs it all, like you would if you were making couscous on its own. So then we're just going to add a lid so the couscous can absorb the liquid and just leave that for about 5 to 6 minutes. After which we'll open it up and give it a little stir all the grains to separate them all from each other, and we'll add some extra virgin olive oil for some lovely fatty taste, high in polymonosaturates, and good fats, if you will. Give them a good stir to keep all those grains separate still, and check them out, taste them, see if they taste good and they're a good texture. The whole process for the couscous takes about 15 minutes. Then we're going to toast some almonds. You can toast them whenever you want, just they're going to go in the oven for about 3 to 4 minutes. You can do it at the very beginning of the process or at the very end, it doesn't matter. Now, not all chicken breasts are the same size, so some of them need to cook longer than others. As you can see here in these shots, the bigger ones are roughly 130 odd and the smaller ones are 150 to 155. So if you're a perfectionist like me, you'll take the small ones out and leave the bigger ones in. If you don't really care that much, just leave them all in till they're all above 150 or 145 to 150. But I allowed the bigger ones to go in for slightly longer than the 2 smaller ones, and these reached my desired 150-ish each. Then all 4 of these are going to rest for 5 to 7 minutes at room temperature before we slice them. The resting part is crucial. Do not slice chicken before you have rested it. This is what locks all the juices inside the chicken. Together with the lower temperature and the longer cook time is what results in this exceedingly juicy chicken breast that you see here. The good news is we have plenty of room now to reheat it in a microwave without it turning into dried out, stringy nastiness. I highly recommend you just always have fresh flat leaf parsley in the fridge. It's the perfect way to liven anything up, both with appearance and taste. I added a bit more salt to my couscous, but you can chill out on the salt if you want. Remember that salt is just a flavor enhancer, so we just want to bring out the natural flavors of the grains and don't go any further than that. Then it's just a case of separating it into 5 equal portions. Add your toasted almonds to the top of the couscous. If you want to be extra perfectionist, you can just apply the almonds each time you go to eat one of these things by either packing them separately or adding them on if you're using your meal preps in your own home. Ladle the sauce between the 5 of them on top of the chickens. And voila, c'est bon. Your little 5 Moroccan meal preps are ready, and I guarantee you, you'll never bore of these flavors. But there is one missing ingredient, and that is honey. I added a little bit of honey in my first run of this dish, but I forgot to do it on this second run. You can add it now when you're packing it up, or you could add it as you go to eat each one, but I do recommend it. It brings out all the other flavors wonderfully. You could probably get away with using agave syrup or something like that, or just omit it entirely. The raisins and the onions add their own residual sweetness. Shoot me some ideas into the old commentitos below, and if you're feeling gracious, give this video a thumbs up and share it with your best buddies. Thanks for watching this, and I will see you next time. I said Morocco, not maracas. Get out of here.